trying to pass it up to Dowling, and there's the pass to Dowling. Dowling going to take a shot. Audrey Keeter across to Keezer. Keezer shot in. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Convention Center here in beautiful downtown Louisville, Kentucky. It is the 39th National Veterans Wheelchair Games for Power Soccer Shop. I'm Tony Jackson, and we have a competition that's about to begin. Team Spokane versus Team Justify. Team Spokane in purple, Team Justify in black. We'll give you a rundown of the starting lineups for Team Spokane. In goal, number 10, Judy Ross. Also on the floor, number 14, David Rose. And joining him, his teammates, number 15, Peter Ricotta. And rounding out the Team Spokane lineup, number 11, Chris Santasteven. For Team Justify, in goal, I believe it's Peter Middlestead. Also on the floor, number 2, Happy Barton. In the middle, 00, Matthew Powell. And finishing up the Team Justify lineup, number 12, Patrick Edlin. We're going to kick off here in just a moment. Referee is getting the jersey numbers situated over here at the scorer's table. Lots of competition happening here at the Veterans Games this week. Right now we have Boccia. We have Power Soccer going on behind us as well. Try to keep you updated on that score when we get the chance. Wheelchair rugby also going on as well. Air rifle was taking place this morning. Lots of competition happening here. And it looks like we are just about ready to go. Matthew Powell for Team Justify starting things off. And that ball right into Rose. David Rose now trying to push the ball up the floor. Happy Barton heading back the other way. Barton taking on Rose. Happy Barton just going to go right behind Judy Rose. And barely 15 seconds into the match, Happy Barton scores the first goal. You see Happy Barton just taking that ball through. Rose thought she was going to go in front of her, but Happy Barton had another thing coming. 1-0 in favor of Team Justify. Edlin. Now Edlin for Team Justify with the ball. Happy Barton takes the ball away again. Santasteven comes up to stop her, but he loses track of the ball. Happy Barton just rolling right through. Happy Barton, she's not going to be able to get that ball before it goes out of play. And so a goal kick coming up for Team Spokane. I want to thank you for joining us here, all of you watching on the Power Soccer Shop YouTube channel. And that is a 2-on-1 violation on Team Spokane. Rose and Santa Stephen both converging on the ball. Powell was trying to figure out why the whistle was blown, and referee Mike McCoy explaining that it is a 2-on-1 violation on Team Spokane. And for those of you that have never watched Power Soccer or have forgotten the lessons of the past, 2-on-1 violation means that two players from the same team have come within 3 meters or about 10 feet of the ball when a player from the other team is also within about 10 feet of the ball. So the referee has called the violation, and now it's going to be an indirect free kick for Team Justify. Powell setting up to restart play, and Happy Barton with a shot. Happy Barton with another goal. 2-0 the score. Let's watch that again. Nice pass from Powell, and Barton is right there to send it through the goalposts. And again, now 2-0 Team Justify. Team Spokane set to kick off again. And a bit of a collision at the center circle, and that ball is going to roll out of play. It looks like it went off of Edlin last, so Team Spokane going to kick in. Edlin with the ball. Edlin trying to split the defenders, and that's another 2-on-1 violation. And I will say, to be fair to the folks playing out here, a lot of these vets only really play once a year here at the vet games, and so even if you play on a team throughout the Power Soccer season, trying to avoid the 2-on-1 is one of the more difficult things to do, especially for newer players. And again, as I was just mentioning a moment ago, a lot of these players don't play outside of this week here at the vet games, and so we're probably going to see a lot of 2-on-1 violations this week, but hopefully as the week goes on, they'll start to get accustomed to the spacing a little bit, and we'll be able to kind of keep away from the ball a little bit more. It's really hard, though, and when you see that ball, the instinct is to go for it and try to score. So Edlin with the indirect free kick coming up. And Barton thought about going for it, but it went out of play. Team Spokane with a kick in. Barton splits the defenders. Nice move. Happy Barton now. Santa Stephen taking on Happy Barton. Powell comes in. Michael Powell with a shot. Saved by Ross. Oh, and Santa Stephen, that ball goes off of his chair and over the line. It's another goal for Team Justify. And you'll see, again, Ross makes the initial save on Powell. But the ball, you can kind of see it through the traffic there. Ball rolls off of Santa Stephen's chair and over the line. And that's a goal. That's going to be an own goal on Santa Stephen. Rose starts it off again. And that ball goes under the guard of Edlin. He needs to be really careful not to be too aggressive. That ball pops up. It could be dangerous. Now Powell making a run towards the Spokane goal area, and he does. That pass across. Rose is there. Judy Ross is there to stop it as well. Barton's there to pick it up, but we're going to get a 3-in-the-box violation. Santa Stephen crossed over that green goal area line. And referee Mike McCoy calls a 3-in-the-box violation. So 3-in-the-box violation is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. you can't have 3 defenders in the goal area at the same time. Only the goalkeeper and the defender, one defender, excuse me, are able to defend the goal area simultaneously. And if a third person enters the area, if the referee is of the opinion that they are impacting play, or even if they're not impacting play, the referee can and will call a 3-in-the-box violation. So Powell is going to take this indirect free kick. Now the ball has to touch someone before it goes over the line for it to count as a goal. Rose tries to clear it out. Powell's there. Powell sends that ball out of play, and a kick in coming up once again for Team Spokane. 8th minute of the match. It's 3-0 Team Justify. Santa Steven sends it in. Barton's there. Barton splits the defenders again. Ross makes the save on it. Barton driving. Barton scores another goal. Happy Barton is on a roll. 4-0 the score. Happy Barton already with 3 goals. We're not even halfway through the first half yet. Happy Barton maybe trying to go for 10 today. Santa Steven. Edlin with it. Patrick Edlin driving. Rose is there to cut him off. And that ball again rolling up on the guard, but Edlin strips it away from Rose. That ball's behind Rose. And Powell coming up to make a play on it. Powell takes a shot, and that one is going to go just wide of the post. Ross was there. I think she would have saved that if it were on goal. Santa Steven starts it up again. Edlin gets right through those defenders. Edlin, David Rose is there. That's a 3-in-the-box violation, but play continues as Santa Steven, Rose, and Ross were all in the goal area at the same time. Edlin lets that ball roll out of play, and the referees are conversing, and they say it is Team Spokane ball. Peter Middlestead waiting patiently in the Team Justify goal area, waiting for some action to take place on his end of the floor, but his teammates have done a really good job keeping the ball away from him. Santa Steven over to Ricotta. Ricotta taking on Powell. Now Powell needs to be very careful. Michael Powell with a shot, and that ball is saved by Ross. Happy Barton there. Once again, Happy Barton scores another goal. It's now 5-0 Team Justify, and again, I think Barton is trying to score at least 10 in this match. Let's see if she gets there. You see Powell with that spin kick that goes all the way through. Ross is there to save it, but then Happy Powell just fighting her way through and scoring another goal. And it looks like Team Justify looking to make a change here. It looks like Middlestead's going to come out of the goal area. He said now Edlin has gone into goal, and a correction here. That is not Peter Middlestead. That is actually David North, number 1. It was a little difficult to see his number through that goalkeeper penny. A couple substitutions for Team Spokane. out on the floor, number 13, Daniel Kaminsky. Also on the floor, Jason Thornton. Powell. That's a 2-on-1 violation on Team Spokane. Kaminsky and Thornton. So Happy Barton trying to sneak her way through the defense. And Powell trying to connect with Barton. Let's see what happens here. Barton is completely unmarked at that far post. That shot by Powell blocked. North and Kaminsky collide. Barton is there. That's close to a 2-on-1 violation. Barton with a shot, but the referee is going to call the 2-on-1 on Happy Barton and David North. So indirect free kick coming up for Team Spokane. William Kutzinger also into the match for Team Spokane. He's got one of his turn signals on. Kaminsky taking on Barton. Now Barton just trying to push through Kaminsky. Barton gets around Kaminsky, but Kaminsky's right back there. Lots of traffic here at the top of the Spokane goal area. Barton pushing her way through. Happy Barton looking for another goal. Ross is there, though, to stop her. Barton trying to fight her way through. Happy Barton scores another goal. Happy Barton now with 6. It's still the first half, ladies and gentlemen. At this pace, Happy Barton might get 10 before the halftime. You can see Ross just left a little room between her and the post. Powell with a shot, but he misses. Now Barton with the ball sends it down the floor, and that ball's going to roll out of play. Let's see where it rolls out, though. That's going to be a kick in. Well, actually, it looks like Kaminsky touched the ball before it went out of play, so a kick in coming up for Team Justify. And pretty much everyone was under the impression that Spokane was going to get the ball, but again, Kaminsky touched it before it went out of play, so kick in coming up for Justify. David North at the top of the area. Michael Powell just kind of sitting back. Nobody covering the far post. And that ball comes back out to Powell. Powell tries to get it through the Spokane defense. Now he chases his own shot down. Ross is there. That ball goes off the post and out of play. Goal kick coming up for Team Spokane. Looks like Kaminsky is going to take that one. North trying to get another goal for Team Justify. They have 6 already. Happy Barton has scored 5 of them. And there she goes once again. Kaminsky, the ball's behind him. Powell takes a shot. Michael Powell. And we're going to get a 2-on-1 violation on Team Justify. David North, Michael Powell, a little too close together. Indirect free kick coming up for Team Spokane. Powell with the ball again. He's going to send that ball wide, and it's going to go out of play for another goal kick. '17th minute, 6-0, Team Justify over Team Spokane. So Happy Barton is ready to take this kick, but we are not ready to resume play as referee Mike McCoy trying to get Ross in place. Now the goalkeeper on a corner kick has to either be outside 5 meters of the corner triangle or behind the goal line, and that's what referee Mike McCoy was doing right there, getting Ross behind that goal line. And that ball comes out, but it's bounced off the back of Kutzinger. Powell with it. Michael Powell with the ball, trying to get around Kaminsky. Play continues. Powell just trying to work that ball around Kaminsky. Oh, Powell needs to be very careful about spinning in the goal area. Close quarters like that, he could make contact with somebody. Now Powell with a shot, blocked by Kaminsky. Powell tries to push through, and it's going to be a goal kick. Team Spokane. So Powell has to be 5 meters away from the ball before it's kicked, and I don't think he's quite 5 meters, but play goes on anyway. Powell with it. The pass over from Barton to Powell. Oh, and Michael Powell absolutely destroys Thornton. Jason Thornton loses his guard. We have to see that one more time. You see Powell spinning towards the ball, and he just ripped the guard off of Jason Thornton. Powell has to be really careful. Those plastic guards are held on by hinges and zip ties, and there's nothing behind that other than feet and legs, and that could be a dangerous situation for people. A lot of these athletes out here have spinal cord injuries, and for those of you that are unfamiliar, a lot of people with spinal cord injuries don't have a lot of feeling or no feeling in their lower extremities, and so you have to be really careful not to cause any injuries, because for the potentially injured player, I mean, they might not realize that they're injured until hours or even days later. So again, Powell just needs to be very careful out there about taking those spins. Powell dragging the ball, dragging Kaminsky down the floor. Kaminsky trying to hold off Powell, but Powell's dragging him into the goal area. Now that's a 3-in-the-box violation. Now Powell with the ball. Powell losing control there. Powell with a shot, saved by Ross, but the ball goes off the front of her guard and over the line. It's now 7-0 Team Justify. Team Spokane just not able to defend. And we are in the 20th minute added time coming up here. And Santa Stephen and Ross having some conversation down here. It looks like they're going to switch Ross out of goal and put somebody else in there. Ross having a little trouble moving quickly, so I think they're going to switch somebody in there who can react and get to the ball a little faster and try to stop the onslaught from Team Justify. So Ross is coming out. And on in her place, David Rose, Kaminsky, David North. David North, good control. North trying to push through Kaminsky. And referee Mike McCoy blows the halftime whistle. Team Justify, score early, score often. It's 7-0. We're going to take a break. You're watching the 39th annual National Veterans Wheelchair Games from Louisville. We'll be back with the second half. Second half about to begin. Team Justify up 7-0 over Team Spokane. For Power Soccer Shop, I'm Tony Jackson. You are watching live coverage from the 39th National Veterans Wheelchair Games. We are here in beautiful Louisville, Kentucky, right in the middle of downtown. If you are ever anywhere near Louisville, I highly recommend you come visit. It's a gorgeous city. And Team Spokane trying to get their lineups sorted out. And they've made a change. Actually, they made this, sticking with the same change they made right before the end of the first half. Chris Santasteven now in goal. Out on the floor and taking this kick, Daniel Kaminsky. Edlin with it for Justify. Ricotta. Edlin trying to just blow through the entire defense. Now he has to circle back and he passes off to Powell. Powell now passes back over to Edlin. Edlin trying to work against Thornton. And Thornton thankfully got his foot guard reattached to his chair. Kaminsky and Edlin battling out in the corner there. Now that is a 2-on-1 violation on Spokane. And the referee allows play to go on. Powell tries to get it through the Spokane defenders. Lots of congestion here, lots of gathering around the top of the Spokane goal area. Edlin still with the ball. Thornton trying to get it away from him, and he does. Jason Thornton now with the ball, heading back the other way, and Powell is there to meet him. Powell trying to rip the ball away from Thornton. Again, he needs to be careful because those plastic foot guards don't offer a lot of protection, but a good play by Powell to knock that ball off Kaminsky and out of play. That ball rolls all the way across and out of play. And it looks like we've got a goal on the other side. Team Assault scoring. That game is a 2-1. I think Team American Pharaohs up on Assault. As soon as I get confirmation, I'll let you know. Now, Powell with the ball, and a 2-on-1 violation called on Team Justify. Team Spokane with an indirect free kick. That one is going to take place right at the middle of the court. Kaminsky starts play again. Edlin. Powell with it. Powell running down the floor, trying to catch that ball. He's not going to get it before it goes out. Kaminsky resumes play. Powell's right there. Kaminsky deflects that shot. Edlin now. That shot's on goal. Santasteven there with the block. Santasteven. Kaminsky trying to hold off Edlin. And now Ricotta trying to take on Edlin. Edlin and Kaminsky. That ball's slowly rolling out towards the touchline. And it is going to be a kick in for Team Justify. Edlin sends it in. Kaminsky. Edlin, that ball off of Edlin. Can he save it before it goes out of play? And referee says no, he can't. So goal kick coming up, Team Spokane. 25th minute. And Edlin taking on Kaminsky. Now they need to be very careful pushing on that ball. That middle wheel for both of their chairs could potentially roll up on the ball, so they need to be cautious. Good job by Kaminsky. Now Edlin strips it away, but Kaminsky now has the advantage, and now he's moving down the floor. Powell is there to defend. Powell kicks the ball away. Ricolta is there for Team Spokane, and now David North taking on Ricolta. That's another 2-on-1 violation, and referee Mike McCoy is going to blow the whistle. So an indirect free kick coming up for Team Spokane. The folks in purple trying to lock in their first goal of the match. If you're just joining us, they're down 7-0. Happy Barton currently on the bench for Team Justify, responsible for 5 of those 7 goals. Now, sort of similar to the corner kick earlier. Now this ball is just outside 5 meters, but what referee Mike McCoy is doing right now is trying to get those players 5 meters or further away from the ball. On any set ball play, the opponent has to be a minimum of 5 meters from the ball. Okay, and we are ready. Kaminsky with a shot, kicked out by Powell, out of play. Kick in coming up for Team Spokane. This has most certainly been their best opportunity so far. They've had a couple fleeting chances, but nothing has materialized so far. But Team Spokane on the attack, and Kaminsky kind of swerved his chair at the last moment and didn't really get any power on that ball. So now Ricolta is there, Kaminsky, Ricolta, Powell now with it for Team Justify. And Powell just kind of crashes through now. Michael Powell driving. Kaminsky, nice move to kind of throw Powell off of his line. And it's out of play for a goal kick. Oh, now things are really starting to heat up here. You can see the contact starting to get a little bit more intense. Now, the sport of soccer is supposed to be a non-contact sport, but for anyone who has watched any number of matches knows that there's definitely some contact that takes place.
We got team. How many minutes you need? 1 more minute.
We're going to make some substitutions. William Kutzinger coming back into the match. And it looks like Ulysses Albritton is coming in for Team Justify. Peter Ricolta coming out for Team Spokane. So we have Kutzinger, Kaminsky, Thornton, and Santa Steven on the floor for Spokane. We have Patrick Edlin, Michael Powell, and Ulysses Albritton, as well as Peter Mittelstedt for Team Justify. Kaminsky. Edlin pushing through. Edlin on the attack. Edlin driving. Edlin, that ball going to roll wide of the post. Referee Mike McCoy with a little limp there.
Anybody else need
Nope, that was it. Y'all are good to go.
Powell with a shot. It's deflected and it's heading back out down the floor, and that's going to roll out of play. Going to be a kick in for Team Justify. '30th minute of the match. 7-0 the score. The referee asking everybody to back away from the touchline to give Powell a little room to kick the ball. Powell. That ball goes right to Ricolta, but excuse me, Kutzinger, but that ball is out of play. Another kick in coming up for Team Justify. Powell over to Edlin. Patrick Edlin with it. Edlin trying to break through that Team Spokane defense. Kaminsky trying to get the ball away from Edlin, and he does. And now he's taking on Powell. Powell pushes that ball right back through. And that ball is going to go just wide of the other post. Goal kick coming up for Spokane. Looks like Happy Barton has made her way back into the match. And Michael Powell will be coming out. Kaminsky. Edlin. Kaminsky. Edlin gets through. Edlin now going to redirect this ball back toward the Spokane goal area. Kaminsky. Kaminsky defending. Kaminsky gets the ball. Thornton now with it. Albritton and Edlin and Thornton all there. That's a 2-on-1 violation, but the referee allows play to go on. And now Barton with it. Happy Barton with the ball. As I mentioned earlier, she scored 5 of these 7 goals. Edlin now pass off to Barton, and now the 2-on-1 violation is being called. So an indirect free kick coming up for Team Spokane. Just under 8 minutes left to go in this match. Team Spokane still looking for their first goal. Team Justify looking for goal number 8. Now a 2-on-1 violation called on Team Justify. Albritton and Edlin a little too close together, so another indirect free kick coming up for Team Spokane. Referee Mike McCoy explaining to Albritton the 2-on-1 rule. Now they did, before this power soccer competition started, they did have a clinic for athletes to kind of explain the rules and help people understand the game a little bit. But as I mentioned earlier in this match, if you've never played or you don't really play very often, trying to space out far enough to avoid a 2-on-1 violation is easily one of the most difficult things to learn when playing power soccer. You'll see a lot of new players or inexperienced players just gravitate towards the ball because, again, it's just natural that you want to take the ball and try to score. But with power soccer, you have to space out at least 3 meters or roughly 10 feet from the ball if your teammate and a player from the opposing team are engaged on the ball. So Barton now with it. That ball's going to roll out of play. Kick in coming up for Team Spokane. '35th minute. Team Justify cruising right along here. Edlin with it, but Edlin couldn't control the touch, and so another kick in coming up for Team Spokane. And Kaminsky is going to start things up again. Edlin with it, Kaminsky. Nicely done by Edlin to kick the ball out. Happy Barton's there. Happy Barton, nice little fake move by Barton. Now Barton trying to get around Kaminsky, and she does. Happy Barton couldn't control it, however, so again, another kick in coming up for Team Spokane. Barton off of Kutzinger. That ball just trickling towards the touchline. Can anybody save it before it goes out? No. Kick in coming up for Team Justify. Now the scoreboard on the other court seems to be malfunctioning, so I'm not quite sure the state of that match at the moment. Now Kutzinger backs into the ball. Edlin with it. Happy Barton there. Barton now taking on Kaminsky. Barton gets that ball through. Barton pushing. Kaminsky doing very well defending against Barton, but Barton gets that ball away. Happy Barton trying to drag the ball towards the goal line. Barton with a shot, saved by Santa Steven. Happy Barton with another goal. Happy Barton takes the rebound, scores another. It's 8-0 Team Justify. And you see she takes a shot there and it's saved by Santa Steven, but he can't control the rebound. And Happy Barton notches another. 8-0 the score. David Rose heading back to his side of the pitch. And now the kickoff. Edlin. Kaminsky misses the ball. And now Edlin making a run. Oh, and Edlin needs to be very careful. Now Edlin with it again. Now the pass off to Barton. Barton gets it past David Rose. Kaminsky's there to stop it, but Barton looking for another goal. She is determined to score another. Now Kutzinger is there. Kutzinger trying to get out of the way. The ball dancing along the touchline. And now Kaminsky. Cut off by Barton. Kaminsky was trying to make a run down the pitch. Kaminsky. Albritton is there. Kaminsky trying to weave around Albritton. Nicely done. Good job, Daniel Kaminsky. Good ball control, but Edlin is right there to stop him in his tracks. But Kaminsky sets up again. Kutzinger with it. Kaminsky now takes the ball back again, and he takes on Happy Barton. Barton just trying to get through. Kutzinger takes the ball away from Barton, and now he's going to try to save it before it rolls out of play, and he does. Nicely done, but it's going to roll out for a goal kick. '40th minute, Team Justify 8, Team Spokane 0. Barton over to Albritton, but he can't get there in time. It's out of play for a kick-in for Team Spokane. Now, although the result has been determined, Team Spokane still with an opportunity to at least get a goal on the board. Let's see if they can do it here in the final moments of this match. Barton, Kaminsky. Barton gets past Kaminsky. Now Happy Barton racing down the floor. Kaminsky racing back to defend along with David Rose. Now Kaminsky does well to stop Barton. And Barton backs into Kaminsky. And referee Mike McCoy blows the final whistle. Team justify the early lead enough to seal a victory. 8-0 the final score. We're going to take a break. When we come back in about 50 minutes or so, we'll have our next match. 3 p.m. Eastern here in the United States. So wherever you're watching around the world, make sure you adjust your time accordingly. 3 p.m. next match. You're watching the 39th Annual National Veterans Wheelchair Games live from Louisville. We'll be back in a little bit.